The reason why Airtable is so great for managing blog posts is number one, it's free. Number two, it has a lot more features and tools available than a regular spreadsheet, like a Google Sheet or Numbers, Excel, etc. Hi, I'm Abby from Very Veganish. I am a food blogger. In my past life, I did a lot of process improvement, efficiency, workflow management, and workflow improvement for a Fortune 50 company. I'm also trained as a Six Sigma Green Belt, which just means that I nerd out on processes. So in this video today, I am going to show you a basic way to use Airtable to organize and manage your blog posts. This has been requested by some fellow bloggers of mine, and so I hope that this is helpful to you. So let's get into it. I'm going to start from scratch to create this template. Let's title our base, and you can change the color as well if you want. And now across the top here on Airtable, this is where your tabs for your spreadsheets will show. So since this is a brand new Airtable, we only have one, but as you create more sheets or tables, they'll all show up here in the top header. You can import data from a CSV file, from Google Sheets, from Excel, if you want to, or you can start with a template that Airtable already provides. But in this video, I want to show you how to create this from scratch so that you understand how it works, and then you have the skills in order to create new types of tables to track other kinds of data, and you're not stuck to just the template that's provided. For this table, I'm going to rename it All Blog Posts. Save. And if you see me looking over, I'm looking at my template that I use on a day-to-day basis for my blog so that I can kind of pick out the top columns that I use on a regular basis and pull those over into this table that I'm showing you. For this first column, you don't want this to be sort of an arbitrary column. This should be the main field or the main title of the data that you're going to be putting into this table. So for example, we're tracking our blog posts. So this first column is going to be my blog post title. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this field and change it from name to blog post title. And it is a single line of text, so we can leave that alone. And now I want to add a new column next to this. I am going to right click on the header here where it says blog post title and then insert right. And this is going to be an image. I like to have the featured image for each post in my table, so that's why I'm going to add it. Oh, where is it? Let's see. I think I mixed. Okay, I think it's here, attachment. I missed it. Okay, and it's going to be a small image, so I can kind of make that a little bit smaller, the column. Next, I'm going to right click on image and insert right. So this is going to insert a column to the right of image, and this is going to be the URL for my blog post. And this is a single line of text. Or you can actually, I think they have an option for URL. They do. Let's choose that. Again, that doesn't need to be very long. It'll wrap the text automatically. Next column, insert right, published date. This is going to be a date. And I don't want to include the time. I don't need to display the time zone. All of that looks good. Create field. Right click, insert another column to the right. This is a column that I use to record the last time I've updated the blog post. Date. Next, we're going to add status, and this is going to be a single select drop down. So I'm going to add options here. So we have published, needs optimization, top post, careful, deleted, no, indexed. I keep track of this as much as I can to remind myself of what the status of it is, really. Most of them are just published. When I'm going through and I'm doing content optimization, maybe each quarter when I'm really organized, then I will go through and I will mark the ones that need optimization and I'll work through those. Top post careful is how I differentiate between my top 10 or 15 blog posts that bring in the most traffic and everything else. So I have careful listed here because I don't want to just all willy-nilly make changes on those blog posts because that can affect their ranking. So that's why I mark it like that. You can adjust the colors for these. Might be a good idea to do like red for that one, just as an alert. And then maybe deleted would be like gray or something. Create field. Please enter a unique field name. Maybe I already have a status column. Okay. Probably need to delete that other one. Let's see. Yeah. So this would be for like a to-do list. See, you have to do in progress done. So that's why it gave me that error message. So let's go ahead and delete this. And the way I'm doing this is I'm gonna right click on the header of the column and then delete field. I'm also going to right click on assignee. We don't need that. And now I can rename this back to just status. Okay, awesome. To the right here, last promoted on social media or email. You can split those up into two columns if you'd like, but it might be helpful to keep them together if you don't want to track a lot of different dates. We're going to add a date and then create field. So what I would do for a blog post, say I scheduled it to be shared to my Instagram tomorrow, then I would go in here and pop in tomorrow's date. So what this allows me to do whenever I have all my blog posts populated is I can create a view here on the left of the blog posts that have not been shared recently. So that would help me whenever I'm creating my content calendar for social media or trying to decide what to send to my email list. So it really helps to have the dates because it allows you to sort and filter out blog posts as you're organizing and planning your work. One of the other ways I've been using this is for Flipboard. So let me add in those columns that I've been using. Insert right, date, flipped. This is a date. And then we're going to insert another column, Flipboard magazines. This is going to be a link to another record, but I haven't created that table yet. So let's leave it right now as a single line text, and then we'll create that other table, and I'll show you how that works. Another column that is helpful to track is seasonality. So I'm going to add a new column to the right of status. We're going to add multiple select because one blog post may work for summer and spring. We're going to add in our options here. I'm just going to do the seasons, make it easy. For example, if it's a soup and it works for winter and fall, you can select both of them since we did multiple select. Another type of column that's very helpful, but I'm not going to add it today, is check marks. So for example, if I adjust my strategy and I now want to add process shots to my blog posts for my recipes, but I have a lot of old blog posts that don't have process shots, I might add a column in here for process shots and make it a check mark. And then as I'm going through and I'm optimizing, I can check it off whenever I've added it to that post. And that just helps me to keep track of what I'm doing. So let's add in another table for our Flipboard magazines to show you how two tables can interact with one another. Okay, so we're going to rename this first column to magazine title. We need to delete status, delete assignee. We don't need that. Okay, to the right of magazine title, I am going to add URL. When you've added a lot of magazines to your profile, like you've been invited to and accepted invitations to a lot of group magazines on Flipboard, it can start to become unwieldy, and it's nice to have a link straight to the magazine. Then to the right of URL, I am going to add number of followers. This is a number. I do not need any decimal places. Okay, that looks good. And then we have notes where we can add perhaps specific requests that the magazine owner has asked. For example, only flip once per day, or the certain topic that they want you to use for that group magazine. Let's just add in a few here. So we've added in our Flipboard magazines. You will want to go in and populate all the ones that you're a part of now. You can add your own as well as the group magazines that you have joined. I do have a column here for the type of magazine that it is, so I can separate it out, group magazines versus my own magazines. So you can also add that if you want. So let's go back over to our blog posts. We're going to add some sample data in here. Okay, so here's our sample data added in for our 3 blog posts. Whenever I am adding in my Flipboard data, when I've created my Flipboard link, I've posted it to Flipboard, I'll go here and I will post the date. And then for my Flipboard magazines, this is where we're going to go back and change the type of column that we're using. So if you right click on the header, edit field, then we're going to change the single line of text to link to another record. And you'll notice we have a new option here. Because we've created a second table, it's giving us an option to link from Flipboard magazines. We're going to allow linking to multiple records because one flip you may share into multiple group magazines, and the rest of this you can keep the same. Save. This is asking us to tell Airtable which column we want to look at for the data when we're looking for the Flipboard magazines. So we want to look at the magazine title. So we're going to add one field. So now whenever I'm flipping, I can tap this little plus sign and I can choose the magazine that I am going to flip it into, or I already have flipped it into. So we're going to flip it into those 2. And then when you come over here to Flipboard magazines, you'll see it automatically creates a column that will tell you which blog posts you have added to which magazines. You don't have to do anything with that. It does it automatically for you. If you don't want this duplicate column here right next to the one that you select, you can just grab it and drag it over to the right. That's what I normally do. There might be another option, but that's what I do for those types of automatic fields. Notes is a very handy column, and I just type all kinds of things in there, keeping track of what I've done on that post so that I can remember changes that I've made. All right, real quickly, let me show you how to create another view. Over here on the left-hand side, we have grid view, which is what we're looking at, and this has all of the data in one place. We can filter and sort this data by using these options up here. Filtering will remove some of the blog posts that you ask it to remove. Sorting will just reorganize the data based on the column that you want to use. So for example, if I wanted to sort it with my most recent posts at the top, then I would choose publish date, and then I would do latest to earliest. And now my most recently published post is at the top of the table. You'll also see that the sorted button becomes orange. So it's telling you that this is being used by this table right now. So if you like to see your data in a certain way often, and you don't want to have to go and sort and unsort, filter and unfilter, you can just create different views to see the data. So on the left here, I'm going to create another view. I use the grid views most often, but you do have options to use a calendar view, a gallery view, Kanban view, and a list view. So we're going to create another grid view, and I want to make this one all about Flipboard. On my Flipboard view, what I want to do is I want to remove some of the extra columns that I'm not going to need whenever I'm just working on Flipboard. So let's remove, we're going to hide them. So tap on hide fields. This doesn't remove the data from your table. This only hides it from this view. So let's hide publish date, last updated, status, last promoted on social media, and that extra magazine title column. So now you can see it's very short. It's not as wide as it was. So I can see all the data in one place. And that's really helpful when you're just going through and you're working on one type of. I'm also going to sort this by the last date that I flipped the content. What this will do is it's going to put the content that has already been flipped at the bottom. And when you have 100, 200, 500 blog posts in this list, this becomes very helpful because all of the content you've already put on Flipboard pushes to the bottom, and then it surfaces all the content that has not been on Flipboard yet or hasn't been flipped there in a very long time. This same sort of thing can be done for other social media, for your email list, all different kinds of things. Pinterest, you can track it that way as well. I'm just showing you Flipboard because it's simple and it should be helpful right now since a lot of bloggers are looking to use Flipboard to increase their traffic to their websites. So as I'm going through and I'm doing my work, I can see the ones that I need to work on. I will just tap on this link. It'll take me to my website. I can grab the link. I can adjust it in post polish if I want to, share it to Flipboard, and then I'll come back here once I've done that and I will add, okay, I've shared this to magazine 2. These are my notes. This is the title that I used. This is the description that I used, etc. And then I'll add the date that I flipped it. Let's do today's date. Hit enter, and you'll see that it starts moving around. And if you click anywhere else on the screen, it will push that post all the way to the bottom for you. I have a ton of views in my Airtable. I have views specifically for social media, seasonality, updating posts, views where it shows me just the posts where I need to add a video to them or create a video, all kinds of things. So you can really play around with it as you get the hang of it and expand what you use it for. But I would encourage you to try to use it for the basics to begin with to see if you like this style of organization. There's tons of options out there of other ways that you can organize your blog posts. Clarity is an incredible option that kind of does it automatically for you, but that's a paid tool. Airtable is free up to a certain point, and I haven't had to pay for it yet. So that's a huge bonus from you for using Airtable, the fact that it's free. There's other options as well, though. You can use like Asana, you can use ClickUp. I use ClickUp for managing my tasks. Monday, Notion. It really just depends on your style of organization, your style of working, how your brain works. Everybody is a little bit different. So play around with it, see if you like it, see if it works for you, the spreadsheet sort of style with added features and added bonuses. And then you can decide if it's something that you want to continue to work on. I did buy a template when I first started using Airtable to manage my blog posts. I bought a template from Leanne Scott at Passive Income Superstars, and that's what I used in order to start off using Airtable without having to create every single table from scratch. I think that template provides 25 different tables that bloggers may use, find helpful in tracking their blog posts. And so you don't have to start from nothing. You can just pop it into Airtable and then adjust it according to your liking. So I highly recommend that. I'll put a link in the description below for that template, which I used in order to create my Airtable at the beginning. And then I've just tweaked it from there. But you can also just start from scratch and then expand it as you want. So I really hope that this was helpful to you and have a great day.